There is a language more powerful than words. A language most men never learn to read. It is silent, it is hidden, and yet it reveals the deepest desires a woman tries to keep secret. Think about this: words can lie, but the body cannot. A woman may say she is just being friendly, but her eyes, her touch, the way she moves, tells another story. Studies in psychology show that more than 60% of human communication is nonverbal. That means the truth often slips out through her body before it escapes her mouth. Have you ever noticed how a woman's gaze lingers on you a little longer than usual? Or how her laughter feels softer, warmer, almost like it carries something unspoken? These are not random habits. They are signals of desire that many men fail to notice. Today, we step into the darker side of attraction. Into the secret gestures, the small movements, the hidden clues that reveal when a woman wants more than friendship. Stay sharp, because once you learn these 9 body language signs, you will never look at her the same way again. The eyes that linger. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, but in truth, they are also the greatest betrayers of desire. When a woman secretly wants a man, her eyes begin to reveal what her words never will. Think about this carefully. A normal glance is quick. We look at someone, then look away. It lasts less than a second. But when her eyes stay on you longer than usual, when her pupils seem to widen in the moment, that is not by accident. Psychology calls this gaze fixation, and it is one of the most powerful nonverbal signs of attraction. There is something almost dangerous about it. A woman may not speak a single word, but her eyes already confess the secret. You will notice it when she looks at you in a crowded room but pretends she was just looking around. You will notice it when her gaze locks on you, then quickly breaks away, as if she is afraid of being caught. That quick escape is not rejection, it is the panic of being exposed. Even blinking can betray her. Research shows that when someone feels nervous attraction, their blink rate increases. Watch closely. Is she blinking more often when you talk? Does her gaze dart between your eyes and your lips? These are silent signals, primal instincts she cannot control. And here is the darker truth: sometimes, she does not even realize she is doing it. The brain reacts to attraction faster than thought. By the time she tells herself to act normal, her eyes have already told you everything. But here lies the trap. Not every lingering gaze means desire. Sometimes it is curiosity, sometimes suspicion. That is why you must read it in context. A woman who secretly desires you will not only hold your gaze longer, she will combine it with other cues: a faint smile, a tilt of the head, or the soft narrowing of her eyes, almost like she is scanning your face. In the shadows of human behavior, the eyes are the first sign. They set the stage for what follows. And once you learn to recognize the difference between a passing look and a lingering gaze, you begin to see the hidden script playing out in silence. The subtle touch. If the eyes are the first sign of hidden desire, then touch is the second, more dangerous, more deliberate, yet often disguised as nothing. A woman who secretly wants a man will rarely confess it with words. Instead, she lets her body betray her, and touch is the easiest way to slip that secret into the air. But it is never obvious. It hides in small, almost invisible gestures. Think of the times she accidentally brushes against your arm in a crowded space. Or when she laughs at something you said and rests her hand on your shoulder, only for a second, as if it meant nothing. Yet the human brain does not touch without reason. Neuroscience shows that even the smallest physical contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It creates a rush, a spark, something she will feel long after the touch is gone. But it goes deeper. Notice the patterns. Does she find excuses to close distance, passing you something she could have simply placed on the table? Adjusting your collar, fixing a speck of dust on your shirt, letting her fingers stay just a fraction longer than necessary. These are not random acts of kindness. They are rehearsed signals, ways to test if you feel the same. Psychologists call this proxemics, the science of personal space. When someone steps into your bubble without hesitation, it is never meaningless. Most people guard their space like territory. If she enters yours again and again, it is because she feels safe, or because she secretly wants more than safety. There is also the nervous touch, the one she gives herself when you are around. Watch closely. Does she play with her hair more often in your presence? Does she adjust her necklace, or lightly trace her own fingers? These self-touches are signs of arousal, but not the kind she will ever admit. The body speaks the words the lips will never say. Yet here is the dark twist. Touch is risky, it is exposure. If her desire is hidden, she will often cloak the act in excuses. Oh sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. But you know better. Once is an accident, twice is coincidence. But 3 times. That is intention. And just like with the lingering gaze, you must be cautious. Some women are naturally more physical, more comfortable with touch. But when it becomes selective, when you notice she touches you more than others, that is when the hidden story begins to unfold. In the silent theater of body language, the subtle touch is the moment desire stops hiding and starts testing. It asks a question without words: did you feel that too? The voice that softens. Words can lie, but their voice almost never does. A woman may keep her feelings hidden, but when desire creeps into her heart, it slips into her tone before she even realizes. Pay close attention to how she speaks when she is around you. Is her voice lighter, smoother, almost melting compared to how she talks with others? That shift is not random. The human voice is controlled by tiny muscles in the throat, and those muscles respond to emotion faster than the mind can cover it up. When attraction is present, her tone softens, her words stretch, and her rhythm slows, as if her body is trying to draw you in. Think about it. Does she laugh more freely when you speak, even at things that were not really funny? Does her voice dip into a gentle whisper when the room is noisy, forcing you to lean closer? That is not just communication, it is intimacy disguised as conversation. Psychologists explain that a softening voice is often a subconscious way of lowering barriers. The same woman who speaks sharply in meetings or loudly with friends may suddenly sound almost delicate with you. It is her body's silent way of saying, I trust you enough to let my guard down. Then there is the change in pitch. Research shows that women's voices often become slightly higher around men they are attracted to. It is a biological signal, rooted deep in evolution, meant to capture attention. She will not be aware of it, but you will feel it. The shift is small, almost invisible, yet undeniable if you listen carefully. But here comes the darker side. Sometimes, the softening of a voice is used not just to express desire, but to test control. Notice if her tone changes only when you are alone, but hardens back in public. That means her feelings live in the shadows, where no one else can see. Or perhaps she lowers her voice not just to draw you in, but to make the world around disappear, creating a private bubble where you are the only focus. That is not casual, that is calculated. And do not forget the pauses. When she hesitates before answering, or lets silence hang just long enough to pull your attention, it is not always by accident. Desire lives in pauses. The unspoken word is often louder than the spoken one. The voice is not just sound. It is a weapon, a mirror, and a confession all at once. When a woman softens her voice with you, while keeping her tone normal with everyone else, it is not coincidence. It is her secret escaping through the cracks. The question is, will you hear it, or will you ignore what her body is screaming through her whispers? The body that leans in. Words can be chosen. Smiles can be faked. But the body, it rarely lies. One of the clearest signs of hidden desire is how a woman positions herself when she is near you. Watch closely. When she talks to you, does she lean closer, even when there is no real reason to? Maybe you are in a group, yet her body angles toward you as if the rest of the room has vanished. That small forward motion is not just about hearing better, it is her subconscious pulling her closer to what she wants. Psychologists call this proxemics, the study of how humans use space. The average person keeps a safe distance when talking to strangers. But when attraction grows, that distance shrinks without thought. She might place her arm on the table near yours, step into your personal space, or tilt her body in your direction. Her posture is telling you something her words will not. Now notice the pattern. Does she lean back when others speak but tilt forward when you do? That contrast is critical. It means her body is choosing sides, it only moves closer to you. This movement is primal, rooted in survival and mating instincts. Long before humans learned language, our bodies were already leaning toward what we desired. It does not stop there. Pay attention to her feet and legs. Desire often shows itself from the ground up. If her feet point toward you, if her knees angle in your direction, her body is aligning with you even when she is pretending not to. It is silent magnetism, the kind you feel but cannot easily explain. But there is also a darker layer. Leaning in can be more than attraction, it can be a test. Sometimes, a woman moves closer just to see how you react. If you stiffen, pull away, or fail to notice, she learns something about your confidence. If you stay calm, she knows her presence has power over you. In this way, her body language becomes both confession and experiment. And think about the subtle touches that follow a lean in. Does her shoulder brush yours when it did not have to? Does she let her hair fall toward you as she bends closer? These are not mistakes, they are carefully allowed accidents. The lean draws you in, the touch seals the message. You may try to tell yourself it means nothing. But the body is a traitor to the mind. Every step closer, every forward tilt, every narrowing of distance is a quiet admission, I want to be near you. The danger is ignoring it, because when someone leans in, they are not just shifting their weight. They are shifting the balance of your connection. The real question is, are you paying attention to what her body is already confessing? The unsettling micro-movements. Attraction does not always scream. Sometimes, it whispers. And those whispers live in the smallest movements, the ones so fast, so subtle, that most men never notice them. Look at her face. Does her eyebrow lift a little higher when you walk into the room? Does her lips part slightly before she speaks, almost as if her body reacts to you before her mind catches up? These are micro-expressions, tiny flashes of emotion that slip through before control returns. Psychology shows they last less than a second, yet they reveal more than words ever can. Then there are the nervous tics. When she adjusts her necklace again and again, plays with her hair even when it does not need fixing, or taps her fingers with no clear reason, these are energy leaks. Desire creates tension, and tension must escape somehow. Her hands betray what her mouth will never admit. Watch her breathing too. It may quicken when you are close, or her chest may rise a little deeper, almost as if her body is trying to steady itself. Attraction has a way of hijacking biology, blood rushes, hormones shift, and control weakens. These are the movements no one rehearses. But here is the darker truth, micro-movements are not only signs of desire, they are also signs of fear. Sometimes, she wants you but is terrified of being exposed. So her body fights itself, leaning in, then pulling back, smiling, then biting her lip. That inner conflict creates those fleeting motions that make you wonder, did I just imagine that? Men often miss them because they look for the obvious, the big laugh, the bold touch, the direct compliment. But the real story lies in the flicker of her eyes, the sudden swallow in her throat, the way her hand lingers 1 second too long when giving something back to you. These movements are unsettling because they feel accidental. Yet accidents rarely repeat themselves. If you see them again and again, you are not imagining things. One of the most revealing micro-movements is mirroring. If you cross your arms and, seconds later, she does the same without realizing, her body is syncing with yours. It is an unconscious sign of alignment, a physical echo of interest. She is not copying to mock you, her nervous system is simply reflecting the pull she feels. But remember this, micro-movements are fragile. Call them out directly, and they vanish. Pressure her to explain them, and she will deny them. They are not meant to be spoken, they are clues for the observant. If you truly want to understand hidden desire, you must learn to watch not just what she does, but what slips through when she forgets to control herself. Those tiny, fleeting gestures, that is where the truth hides. Because the body, no matter how disciplined, cannot keep its secrets forever. The dance of space and distance. Desire often plays out in silence, not in words. One of the clearest yet most confusing signals comes through space, the way she manages the invisible boundary between you and her. Some call it personal space, but in psychology, it is much more than that. It is a silent negotiation of closeness, control, and hidden longing. Notice how she positions herself when you enter a room. Does she drift closer without a reason? Does she choose the seat next to you, even when there were easier options? Attraction pulls people in, often disguised as coincidence. Yet, when the pattern repeats, it stops being chance. But space does not only shrink, it also stretches. A woman who secretly desires you might sometimes step away, Not because she wants distance, but because she fears her feelings will expose her if she stays too close. This push and pull, approaching, then retreating, is the dance of space and distance. Her body wrestles between wanting more and guarding herself from being seen too clearly. Pay attention to the subtle angles. If her torso points toward you even when she speaks to someone else, that is her unconscious betraying her. The feet often reveal more than the face. They may stay pointed in your direction long after her words try to hide interest. Desire anchors the body, no matter how much the mind tries to steer it elsewhere. Then there is the shrinking of barriers. She may place her phone on the table but angle it away, as if opening a pathway toward you. She may shift her bag or cup aside, removing obstacles between you. These gestures may seem small, but in psychology, they are silent invitations, breaking down invisible walls. What makes this dance unsettling is its unpredictability. One moment she closes the gap, leaning closer during a conversation, lowering her voice as if letting you into a private world. The next moment, she steps back, re-establishing control. This constant movement keeps you questioning, what does she really want? That is the point. Desire rarely moves in a straight line. It circles, it hesitates, it tests the boundaries. Sometimes, her movements are even bolder. She may touch your sleeve under the excuse of brushing something off, or lean past you for an object that was never truly out of her reach. These moments blur necessity with intention. Was she really reaching for the glass, or was she reaching for closeness? That ambiguity is the shadow where attraction hides. Space is never empty. It carries signals, tension, and unspoken choices. If you learn to read the dance, when she closes the gap, when she creates distance, when she removes barriers, you will see what many men miss. Because desire is not always about words or laughter. Often, it is about the invisible current in the air, measured not in sentences but in inches. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it.